Was good, y'all. About to drop a video for y'all real quick. I just want to first introduce myself for all of the new people who have just recently subscribed to me and the people that just followed me. I am Coach Jarabica Wilkins. In case y'all read my intro, my bio, trying to figure out how to pronounce my name. But I'm Coach Jarabica Wilkins. I'm a life coach, and I just help people with their everyday life. I'm the go-to person. When people struggling, going through things, need somebody to vent. I am that person you can come to, and I help you figure everything out. But anyway, I had something different to talk about today, but it was put on my heart to talk about this specific thing. Um, and reason being is because it's something that I've recently experienced. It's not the first time I've experienced it, but due to my growth spiritually and everything, it's the first time that I peeped it. It's the first thing I was able to actually recognize during what I've been dealing with. So I don't know if y'all can still hear it in my voice, but I'm just now getting my voice back. I've been sick for about 2 weeks now. I'm just now getting better. I'm not all the way there, but I'm way better than what I was. And I don't really get sick, y'all. Like, I get like a simple cold or whatever every year around this time of the year. For me, it's expected. But this time it was completely different. But what's crazy about it all is what I want to talk to y'all about today is spiritual opposition. Okay? Spiritual opposition is when you're on your journey in your life, when you answered your call and you're doing what God and the universe asks you to do, there's going to be several things that come about in your life to try to stop you or to try to persuade you that what you're doing, you're not supposed to be doing. I done talked about this several times before in some of my most recent videos, right? This time around, for me, the last video I had dropped, okay? The last video I had dropped gained me super duper exposure on my YouTube channel. Okay, I haven't announced it, but on YouTube, my YouTube page has blown up because I posted that last video I made, and I've been a member of YouTube for about 10 years, but the past 3 years is when I've been making my content. I'm not really YouTube savvy, quote unquote. I'm not really, you know, too informed on the ins and outs of YouTube. I've just been basically consistent as much as I could be with my content. Not as consistent as I could possibly be, but for every video that I make, I post it on YouTube. You feel me? So for the past 3 years, I've only had like 35 subscribers, right? When I posted this last video has gained like 11,000 plus views. And I went from 35 subscribers to about 600 is the last time I checked, about 600 subscribers and still counting. And I remember at this time, before I even posted the video, I was just having these thoughts like, it's plenty of times where, like I said, when you in your walk, when you focusing on what you got to do, what you should be doing according to spirit, there's times where you have these back and forth thoughts. There's times where you feel like, you don't know if you really should be doing this. And, it's really, the enemy likes to play on your mind a lot when it comes to you doing what you're asked to do in the spirit. And I remember before I posted that last video, I was just thinking about, my content. And I'm just like, man, I don't even know if, like, my content as far as, like, on my YouTube. I wanted my YouTube to pop. And it hasn't, up until recently. And I'm just like, man, you know what I'm saying? So I was going back and forth about it. And then I had a moment where I was like, I don't even feel like making a video. I don't feel like posting anything. Like, I don't feel like making content. Now, mind you, this is something that I had told y'all about in some of my recent videos that I felt like God and the universe has asked me to do. They called me to do this because, for those of you who are new, I had talked about how I used to be super duper shy. Growing up, I was a shy little girl. I didn't really like to be around too many people. I was afraid to open my mouth. I was afraid to speak, and it was a huge fear for me. And even when I started my content 3 years ago, like if you go back 3 years and look at the content that I made versus the content that I've previously made, you will see the difference. You'll see that I was still shy in those videos, and now I'm like more out and more open and more bold. And, as I tapped into my walk, as I tapped into what I'm supposed to be doing, I looked back over my life for a moment and I realized like the enemy already knew. They already knew what I was called to do before I even knew anything about a calling, before I even knew anything about, the spiritual world, before I knew anything of anything, before I even knew myself. They was trying to shut me up from jump. It was a reason why I was shut up. You know what I'm saying? So when I look back over my life and I look at that and I look at these videos now that I've made, I'm like, the enemy been trying to shut me up. And even when I was having these thoughts before I posted this most recent video, and I was going back and forth in my head about my calling and just like that, it's the norm. It don't mean that you ain't supposed to be doing it. It's just me going through the process of doing what I'm asked to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not always comfortable, and it's not always, oh, I'm just real excited to do this and stuff like that. It's not that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, like, when you answer your calling, when you walk in your purpose and stuff like that, you go through the worst. Everybody go through their shit. But it's something about when you tap in to what you're asked to do spiritually by God and the universe, you go through a whole lot of stuff. You are constantly tested. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly tested. And it can be draining at times. It's not a smooth walk. Ain't nothing about it smooth. You might have a smooth moment or two. You see what I'm saying? But it's all for the greater good. That's why I be telling y'all, like, it's all for the greater good regardless. So I realized that, at one point, the enemy been trying to shut me up. The enemy been not wanting me to open my mouth because it knew that the moment I realized, the day I realized that I was supposed to speak and help motivate others and encourage others and stuff like that, that it was going to unlock a whole lot of things. You know what I'm saying? That I was going to, touch the hearts of other people, not touch the hearts of everybody, because your calling and your walk ain't supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to reach everybody. You're not supposed to gain the acceptance of everybody when it comes to your walk and what you're supposed to be doing. You're going to have some people that's down for it, and then you're going to have many others who are against it. But nonetheless, we're not worried about who's against it. We're not worried about who's not going to support us and people who talk about us and stuff like that. We don't have time to address any of that shit. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because once you have that understanding, then as you walk in your purpose and stuff like that, you will be able to take that next step without worrying about other people. It wasn't called for you to touch the whole world because you're not going to touch the whole world. You feel me? You're supposed to touch a part of it. You're supposed to touch a few people. And the ones who you're supposed to touch, the ones you're supposed to, get their attention, they're going to gravitate towards you. It's a spiritual thing. It's an energy thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I posted this last video, that's when I got sick. When I started looking at my subscribers and they was growing and the people who were commenting and stuff like that, I'm like, man, it's really jumping. You know what I'm saying? I got super duper excited because this is what I wanted for the past 3 years. This is what I wanted for the past 3 years, and this is something that I wasn't able to figure out and do. But the one thing that I tell y'all is just take the next step, and that's what I've done. Post the next video. You made a video, post that. Okay, post this next one. That's literally all I've done. You see what I'm saying? So, when I got sick, I'm like, here we go. At first I ain't think nothing of it because I'm like, around this time every year, I catch a little cold. This is what it is for me. But the shit got worse, y'all. It got worse. I couldn't talk for real. I didn't have an appetite for real. Like, I just felt horrible. Then I had this dry ass cough. And then I had these headaches that wouldn't go away. And I was irritated. Like, I was mad, not necessarily. It was like towards. I was mad that that I was sick, but I was upset because okay, I'm like okay, I need to make some more content. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't talk. I didn't properly rest because I was still going to work. You know what I'm saying? But as I sat there and was just able to just be in my thoughts, be in my head, because I couldn't really say too much of nothing, it dawned on me that I was going through a spiritual opposition. And that's why I said in moments in your walk, it'll be literally moments where shit seems to run smooth. It was literally a moment where I posted that video and my shit started growing and I'm like, cool, I got it. Literally a moment. And then a few days later, I got sick to where it shut me up. You know what I'm saying? So I was having all these thoughts and it went from angry thoughts to then, spirit tapped into my heart and spirit was like, look, I'm going to use this opposition for your good and I need you to listen to me. Spirit spoke to me while I couldn't talk because I knew what it was. I'm like the enemy trying to shut me up. The enemy don't want me to get the message that I needed to get out there because the enemy knew that I was coming. Like I'm about to come with something else. I'm about to come with more. And it didn't want me to. But during the opposition that I went through, Spirit spoke to me and said, I need you to stop focusing on whether or not you feel like doing a video. I need you to focus on the fact that I'm asking you to do the video. And on times where you don't feel like doing it, times where you're going through your own things, I need you to get on that camera and make the video. Because it's bigger than you. I didn't ask you to do these things because it was to benefit you, per se. I asked you to do these things because I'm using you to reach out to other people. Because there's a lot of people out there in a dark space and they can't see their way out. That's what I asked you to do. It's bigger than you. It's not about how you feel. It's not about, and you know what you got to do. Like you just tripping. This was Spirit telling me in so many words. You tripping. So while you go through this opposition and you work on getting better, the moment you're able to speak, I need you to go out there and speak. I need you to keep doing what you're doing. I need you to go harder. I need you to focus on what I asked you to do. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have more people, with the negative comments. And I'm not worried about you, worried about that because I know you're not. Spirit, no, I'm not. It's something about when you've been through some shit in your life and you finally tap in spiritually and you get the hang of that shit, you don't have those thoughts to where you worried about what the next person gonna say or how they feel about what it is that you're doing. You can care less. Because a motherfucker like me, I look at it like this. You may come at me in a negative way. You may not support me. You may have, these issues with me or whatever. You don't agree. But if you ever was to comment in a negative way, then I still appreciate you. Right? I appreciate you anyway because guess what happens? You still are contributing to my exposure out there in the media. You're still helping me. You see what I'm saying? And and it's like I look at it like I'm flattered because you still taking time out of your day to acknowledge me, even if it's in a negative way. So I still appreciate you. You know what I mean? But Spirit spoke to me and it just basically was like, I need you to stop tripping. You are supposed to do this. You are supposed to speak to others. You on the right path. You just tripping. And I thought about it for a moment where I stopped being angry and stopped feeling down about it. Like, I can't even talk, I can't speak. And then it was a moment where I just went and I just became silent. I just rested. Once I received the message it gave me, I just rested because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm on the right path. But it just goes to show, and this is what I tell y'all, the opposition comes. This is how you know that you on the right path, because the moment you take a step and the door opens, because that's what just happened for me. The door opened. Here comes the opposition. That's why I encourage you at times to, when you go through some shit, to face it. Stop trying to do things to not feel it. Stop trying to ignore what you're going through and face it. Face the emotions that you're having. Learn to get through that shit, because it's not going to stop. It ain't going to stop. And it's just crazy how spirit works. Like, it really works in mysterious ways. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to receive that message, and I was able to even peep that I was going through a spiritual opposition. Because most times a person will be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, but once you learn to read it. And that's another thing that the enemy hate. Like, bro, I see what you're trying to do with me. I see it, I feel it. But it's cool, because I'm not going to stop. Like, I'm going to go through this little shit you throwing my way, but I'm going to still keep going, and I'm going to come even harder. You see what I'm saying? You're going to go through your opposition. It's for your greater good. You will be tremendously blessed, but you're going to go through some shit before you get there. You're really going to go through some shit. It doesn't say that if you tap in, you're going to catch a break, because you don't. But it's going to make you stronger. It's going to help you get to the next level, to prepare you for the next opposition, because it's going to come. So that's what I wanted to speak to y'all about today. It's not the initial topic that I had, but it's something that Spirit led me to speak on. And, just wanted to encourage y'all that as you're walking in your walk, whatever God has asked you to do or called you to do, don't allow it. Don't allow the opposition that you go through to get you down. Don't allow it to convince you to second guess what you're doing, and don't allow it to stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing, because that's the whole purpose of it. Putting these negative thoughts in your head and trying to just basically get you to stop doing what you're doing, to give up on it. Understand that you are strong enough to do this, because you were asked to do this. Like they said, God ain't gonna put nothing on you that you can't bear. He's not gonna put you in a position to where you can't handle it. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to encourage y'all to keep y'all head up, keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, and keep working on yourself. And learn to recognize the opposition. Learn to laugh at it. This time, normally I laugh at the shit, but this time I didn't laugh. Like, I was, and it was kind of like I was teased or something for a minute. Like, yeah, look, her subscribers done went up. Now she can't talk. You know what I mean? Like, that really's on me. It was nothing funny about that. To me, it wasn't. But that's what I went through in my head, y'all. Like, that's what I really went through. And I had to be humbled. I had to be humbled. And they had to show me, like, you good. Like, yeah, it's an opposition, but you good. You know what you got to do. So when you get your voice back, good enough for you to talk and for people to understand you, then go harder. But I love y'all.